Hello, Cancer. This is going to be your bonus video for July 2018 for the Sun, Moon, or Rising sign in Cancer. And my name is Ara, and you have reached my channel, Cosmic Vibrations. So, sorry about the music last time. It was a little too loud. So, I'm going to try this again at a lower volume. Hopefully you like it. It definitely helps me because I have a hard time with the silence when I'm shuffling. So bear with me. Okay. So this bonus reading is going to be for love, career, and health. First, love. That was exactly one whole song to do that. This is tying in with the first one, I think. So it seems really specific to me. I'm wondering if there's a particular Cancer person watching this that really needs to hear this for some reason. Again, keep in mind, even the bonus readings are still general because I'm doing this for a lot of people out there who just happen to have Cancer energy in them. So not all of this is going to apply to you. Hopefully it will. If not, maybe next time. But I'm mainly seeing a love reading in here for someone who's getting out of a relationship or is about to get out of a relationship. And so I may pick other cards for single Cancer people or Cancers who may be in a different situation than this. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So I ended up picking a lot more than 6 cards just because I was trying to get more information about this. And so I'm going to show them all to you. The first one on the top is the 7 of Swords. The next one is the 8 of Cups. The next one after that is the Princess of Wands. On the bottom row, the 2 of Cups, the next one after that is Death. The final one out of the 6 on the bottom is another princess, the Princess of Pentacles. And then, because I was trying to make sense out of this to get a different perspective besides the one message that it's telling me, I picked 4 cards. I picked the Knight of Swords, the 2 of Wands in reverse, which is highly significant because I right side up all of my cards before I shuffle them. I don't necessarily work with voluntary upside down cards. So when one does come out upside down, it's a big deal because I don't mix them that way. Then there's the 7 of Cups. And there's the 10 of Swords. So I'm just going to blurt out the story in here, and then possibly I think I'm going to pick a few cards for different Cancers that are not going through this situation. The situation that I see with romance or love for a Cancer sun, moon, or rising sign is, in the past, there was a deep mutual connection with someone where you had a similar frequency to each other, where you understood each other well, you allied up with each other well, you had mutual love, romance, and respect. But you possibly discovered that there were secrets being kept from you, or that there were whole other things going on that you didn't know about. Either that, or it could be flipped, where there was some kind of situation where you felt you couldn't share all of you with this person, and you kept certain parts of yourself to yourself and chose not to share them, perhaps out of fear of being judged, or maybe because of outright shady behavior. And this may not be you, it could be the other person as well. But when we look at the 7 of Swords, I read this in 2 different ways oftentimes. One way is a less dangerous way of interpreting it, which is sometimes when we are considering doing something different or doing something in general, until we've completely made up our minds about what we're planning on doing, oftentimes people keep it to themselves. I mean, why would you go around sharing your future plans or things you're thinking of with people unless you're absolutely sure about it, especially if it's going to change things significantly for yourself or other people. And then once he has made his decision, he opens up and is able to reveal it. Sometimes this means secrets, like showing certain aspects of yourselves to people, but not others that possibly people won't understand, or you just are not sure how to be completely honest about what you're doing. Another way of interpreting this is outright stealing or lying. I remember I got this card once for myself before I hopped on an airplane, and I actually ended up having my purse stolen. This can be people hiding secrets or hiding things about their intentions or what they're doing in order to appear a certain way. That's why there's that tricky, sly fox in the foreground. He's actually stealing swords from those far off, distant people on the horizon. So there was either sneaky shenanigans that once you found out about it, you were not happy about that, and you may have possibly hung on to the situation because of obligation to children. Maybe you couldn't just easily leave a marriage or a long-term relationship because it's wrapped up in your family life now, with your children, with your home, with everything that you have in existence right now. But you've definitely been thinking about leaving if you haven't left already. Because notice I think was, I'm trying to remember whose reading this was in. Oh, hang on one moment. Okay, I'm back. Okay, where were we? We were on this card, which is about wanting something different or wanting to move on, go towards your dreams, go after what would actually truly satisfy you. But being reluctant to take that risk because of all of the things that you would possibly have to let go of in order to do that. And that includes a feeling of emotional stability, security. It's everything that you're used to. It's everything that you have in your life right now. And so it's a huge risk, especially if you're in some kind of situation where you have children or family involved. It's not an easy thing to walk away from existing structures that keep everything going in the family. But I am getting that you really are just not happy, and that you definitely are considering moving on. Maybe you're even coming up with ideas on how you would possibly go about doing that. Sometimes all it takes is to get to a point where you just can't do it anymore, and then it has to change. And even though things may be chaotic, it ends up being the best thing you could have done in the long term once you build another situation. I know it's not that easy. And underneath that is death, which is endings, transformations. Things are no longer what they used to be. It's time to let the skeletons lie in peace, to release existing structures because you have outgrown them, or they've just simply come to their close. If you hang on to the situation, it's going to draw this ending or transformation out even longer than you would like it to be. It's going to have to happen one way or another, whether it happens slowly or whether it happens quickly. Like I said, this is a really specific message in here. And because of the children involved, you're mainly thinking about their needs. How will this change their reality? How will this affect them? Will they be okay? What if it disrupts everything for them? How will I support them on my own? Things like that. Another way of looking at this could be that in the past, you had experiences with deep connections with people, deep relationships that you thought were completely genuine, and it turned out that they were not who you thought they were. Because of this, you are reluctant to risk your heart again in the future for new relationships. And so there's something about that old pattern or the old emotions you have over what happened that needs to lay at rest so that you can cultivate new relationships. And in that case, I would look at these differently. Instead of them being children that you're worried about, I would consider this possibilities for relationships. I'm getting that some Cancer people out there may have people around them that have secret crushes on them. How sweet is that? And it may even be two people that have secret crushes on you, and one of them is working up the courage to approach you with a loose-ended kind of vague way of asking you out, more to a social function or a gathering of some sort, and they say, "Oh, I'm going to this gathering, would you like to come with me?" And it's not quite asking someone out, but it is. They might come off as being more friendly like. Maybe they're a little reluctant to show you all of how they feel yet until they have a better clue of how you feel about them. I'm interpreting this one right now. The Pentacle Court cards, they're people that move a little bit more slowly, and they also do a little bit more planning before they act. And they tend to be really rock solid people, but sometimes they can be a little bit shy. And sometimes they go the roundabout kind of vague way of doing it. Then the other person that could be involved, that also has an eye for you, is much more fiery, active, not shy, very extroverted, would come right out and just blurt it out and be like, by the way, I have had a thing for you for a while. Is there something that we could do together that's fun so we can get to know each other better? So you may have to end up making a choice between these two people, possibly, or you may not choose them at all. In any case, it's lovely to think that you have people around you that have an eye for you. You may not have even been aware of this at all, in which case you're definitely getting invitations. You're definitely getting some kind of message. This could also be one person that shows both these qualities, earth and fire. So that's another way of looking at it. For the first scenario, over the family situation and realizing you possibly ended up in a family with someone who was not who you thought, I got this mess over here. In which case, you need to speak up. You need to speak up. I have a feeling you may have been mulling this, leaving this situation secretly, or in your own head, you haven't really told many people about this. You may have not said much to the person that you're with, even though you're aware of things that maybe they might not even be aware that you know about these things. They might think that everything's just fine. But meanwhile, whatever you found out has been eating away at you. Either that, or if you're the one who possibly is being secretive. Yeah, I'm going to skip over that. Speak up. It's time to talk. It's time to tell them. Or it's time to... Yeah, it's time to tell them. However, if they are volatile, if they have a bad temper, or you're afraid of a fight resulting from that, it could very well end up being a fight. They could be extremely abrasive with how they communicate. And so you may be afraid to speak up because you don't want any more drama. However, you do need to speak up. You do need to say something. Another one is the Two of Wands upside down. On some level, you already have made a decision. Now it's just a matter of how the heck do you go about doing this? You may need to reach out for help from other people on how to proceed from here, but really, the indecision is over. You definitely know you're not happy, and you want to be with someone who's genuine, who you can trust. If you can't be with someone if you can't trust the person that you're with, you shouldn't be with them. And, okay. Next is, again, not knowing how to go about it, not knowing what to do, not knowing what to choose. You say, okay, that's great and everything. I know I have to go, but, you know, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? What are my options? The situation is so emotional and foggy that it's hard for you to know exactly what to go with after this. And again, you may need to have a little bit more introspection in order to figure these things out, but ultimately I definitely feel like you need to talk with a trusted friend about this and possibly get some advice. It could also be that you feel the need for a relationship, and so you're thinking of jumping straight from one into another. I would caution you against that. You don't need another relationship just yet. You're going to have to heal and flush out feelings and things that are stuck in your emotional body from this one before you can really jump into anything else or pick someone else. So the only thing I want to say about this is that if you put this off, if you decide inaction, even though you're not happy, even though you want more, even though it's going to end anyway, and not only is it going to end anyway, it's going to be a really painful ending. It's going to be, you didn't even expect this. So my advice on that case is talk to trusted friends that can give you good advice. Come up with some kind of strategies on how to move forward from there, how to extrapolate, I don't even know if that's a word, extrapolate yourself from this situation, because that's what it feels like, is you have to untangle the cords from yourself. If you don't do that, then this is going to happen anyway. That's one of the reasons on why death is here. So, and it doesn't have to be as dramatic as all that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've been in a relationship where someone's been lying to you or possibly cheating on you or pretending to be something that they're not. It could just be that they are just not what you thought they were. And even though you tried to reconcile with that over a long period of time, it's not going away. That feeling that it's not what you wanted. You're just not happy. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered that. Okay, on to the next one. Hello, I'm back. Just so you know, it's really hot where I am. So I'm sweaty and I had to bind up my hair a little bit. So this next section is going to be for your job, money, career, abundance, money, career, talents, whatever you want to call it. And so here, hopefully you are not annoyed at the music, and I will play one more song. I wish there was a way to fade it out. I'm sure there is. I just don't know how. Okay. Geez, the last scenario for love that I just described, involving all of that intensity in family or dealing with difficult people, or that's leaking out into your whole career thing too, and it's affecting every area of your life. That aside, the bottom row is awesome. And so I'm going to show you the cards now. On the top row, you have the Knight of Swords again. After that, you have the Five of Swords. And after that, you have the Eight of Cups again. On the bottom row, you have the Ace of Swords. Very good. Good. I can feel your instincts kicking in. After that is Lady Strength, which is also great. I'm so happy to see this here. After that, you have two cards. These are your final cards. You have two cards that came out together. And it's the Three of Wands and the Princess of Pentacles again. And so, okay, in the first scenario from the last section, if you are in some kind of situation where you feel stuck even though you know it's time to go, and because of obligations you feel that you're not able to, it's going to get worse and worse with fighting. I'm so sorry I have to tell you this. It's going to get a lot worse with fighting. It's going to get a lot worse with power and control issues, with feeling possibly even like you're around someone who's trying to control you 24/7. To the point where it's going to push you towards the new, because that's the only thing you can really do. Because it's pushing you towards the new, what's going to happen is you're finally going to make a decision based off of realizing that things are never going to change, and you truly see with clarity now what exactly is going on. Your survival instincts are going to kick in, and you're going to become much more forceful and strong, yet gentle, about your boundaries and what you will or will not tolerate. And afterwards, you will be moving on to a much better future where you will be able to have the things that you want, along with the family that you have. As in, if you have children, or if there's something new you want to learn, if you want to take classes or go back to school or try a completely new trade. So, since we're talking about career here, this can also mean that concerning your job or career, you may have a really dominating boss, or you may have a person that you work with that's very, very intensely hard to work with, that really will do anything to rise to the top, even to the point of cutting other people down. And so you're thinking about leaving this job. Things have just gotten too conflicted. There could be gossip, slander, where people are two-faced. They seem nice to your face, but behind your back they're talking about you at work. This is coming out of the blue. Hopefully this makes sense to you. And so because of this, it's gotten so bad, and nothing's really been done about it, to the point where you're thinking of leaving and doing your own thing or trying something completely new. In which case, you decide exactly what it is that you would like to switch to. Or you receive an invitation or opportunity for another job, or another career, or another aspect of your career. You may be studying up on things that you are refreshing your knowledge about and learning new things to incorporate in with it. You're learning new skills, figuring out new ideas, new ways of doing this thing. Expect swift messages. Next, you might be in a position of authority yourself, where being a Cancer, having Cancer energy, generally you are not domineering or come off as being too strong. True strength is through gentleness. So you may be rising to a position that's even better, or a totally new thing that where you are able to be your fullest self and stand in all of your talents, abilities, and skills and be recognized for what you do. Also, you may be getting involved in something where you can work with people more, or be able to show your leadership skills more than you did before. Maybe before you were behind the scenes and now you're coming out more to the forefront and taking more of a leadership role. Or taming difficult people. Maybe conflict resolution, or what's the word? Leading group therapy, or giving people in positions of authority advice, or working with people that ordinarily are very bullheaded in how they do things, and something about your talents for nurturing is coming out where you are more in a position of being able to have people see new ways of doing things from you that they wouldn't necessarily take from anyone else. That's all I can think of right now. Possibly working with children, or with drama, or theater, or leadership skills. Next, this new venture or new plan you have, new position, or even the fresh new energy that you bring into something that you've been doing all along. It doesn't necessarily have to be a whole new job. May involve travel, or involve expansion where you start off small and bit by bit it gets larger and larger and larger and more prosperous and more encouraging, where you're suddenly aware of your horizons of what is possible for you. It ends up possibly being something better than you expected, and that in turn brings about new skills, new abilities, new methods of business. I'm getting business classes, or learning more how to bookkeep or do the logistics of whatever this is. This might be a new aspect of it that you didn't do before, and you're learning as you go, but it looks excellent. This can also be new talents that you suddenly realize you could actually sell, like pottery, painting, sculpting, possibly even teaching young people classes about things. So that looks great, you guys. It looks like a total flip. It's like that pendulum thing I was talking about earlier. How it slows down, stops, and eventually it ends up going in the other direction. That's kind of what it feels like. You get away from negative people. You are no longer under their thumb, and then you can completely branch out and discover new things after that. Looks great to me. Okay, next. Hello again. Here's your next section. And I'm going to skip the music this time. So this is going to be for your mental, emotional, and physical health. And I'm going to do 6 cards again. Okay. Your first card on the top, again, is the Seven of Swords. It makes me wonder if you are the person who's keeping secrets. Or simply just holding things to yourself for now, or holding on to things for too long. Your next card is the Tower. The final one on the top is the King of Wands. On the bottom, the Chariot. One of your cards. I'm getting peeked on. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. So the last card was the Chariot. After the Chariot, it's the Ten of Pentacles. I think you had this in your general reading. As your outcome, or the last one out of the 6, is the Knight of Wands. Okay. Possibly you're the one who's been holding things to yourself. Maybe you found out information, and rather than talking about it, you kept it to yourself, and you've been strategizing on how to get out in the most peaceful way. Or it really has been having to deal with somebody who has been lying to you, possibly, or stealing your energy, time, or money, or someone who has been doing shady business that you found out about, in which case it made you want to get going, or it made you realize that wasn't what you wanted. You're looking for a way out, or you're getting back in touch with what you actually really want your life to be about and how to get yourself there. Maybe that's what you've been secretive about, is how you're going to do this, figuring it all out before you actually do it. Next is the Tower above the Ten of Pentacles, which I view as a family card or a community card. So something about strategizing how the heck you're going to move on from this, or deciding where you want to go, shakes up your existing structure with either family or community, or how you're viewed possibly, or it's going to change everything basically. And it's meant to fall apart whether you like it or not, because it wasn't a sound structure to begin with in the first place, which is why it's crumbling now. You've outgrown it, or it's holding you back in a way that if you don't leave it, if you don't allow that death to happen, it's going to end on its own, and it's going to be very dramatic. You may have been keeping things to yourself because you are afraid of how people are going to view this, or what they're going to say about it, or who's going to remain your friend and who is not, who you're going to lose and who's going to stay, who's going to take sides, all of those things. Or it just disrupts your happy family existence, or maybe not even happy family existence, just what you're used to, what your sense of security is, and I know how important that is to Cancer people. But as your outcome, even though things are destined to change, I don't see them being as bad as you're afraid of them being. And I really do truly see you in the future as stepping into your power and really owning your own authority and realizing, you know what, I'm just going to do what is right for me. And whoever knows me and loves me is going to accept that because they love me and they want what's best for me. And again, stepping into some kind of a leadership role. And underneath that is the Knight of Wands, which is seeking truth, seeking what's coming up for you. Where do you want to go? What do you want to experience? And just being truthful, being able to be yourself again and not hide anything. And if none of this makes any sense, we could look at this in a slightly different way. But as far as health is concerned, I see you having health issues because you've been holding things in and not sharing where you're actually at. And also stress over possibly things changing dramatically with your family or your sense of security with community. But ultimately, this is going to bring you a great aha moment that even though it may be shocking, it's necessary, and it's going to give you a completely different perspective on things and awaken you to realizing that you truly do have power and you can do what you want. Not only that, I see again, there's somebody around you, a fire sign, either a Leo or a Sagittarius type person or a Jupiterian solar type of person that is really encouraging you to stand up and be more assertive about who you are, what you want, what you don't want, who truly admires you and really wants to see you do well. And so you do have support. You may even have somebody that's waiting for you to get out of this situation so that they can pursue you. But how this applies to health is holding things in gets to the point where you feel like you have to open up. You have to, you'll almost explode. And then you come into a much more healthful place after that. You may be having issues with adrenals, with your adrenal system. So try to relax as much as possible. Try to take care of yourself and ground out. Try not to stress too much. It's exhausting your system. It's almost like a fight or flight feeling. And that's just exhausting your adrenal system. So I think that's it. Alrighty, hopefully that made sense to you or helped in some way. And if not, maybe next time. Many blessings to you. Happy birthday again.